Hi, Stars fans. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Melbourne Stars podcast. I'm your host, Mighty Melbourne Stars, and this has been a been a while in the making. A very good podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, as always.
Hey guys, it's Jacob here from Melbourne Stars News, and pleased to be back. It's been a while, like Heath mentioned. It's been a bit limited on the content side of things. Not a whole lot to produce to you guys, but we're quality over quantity. So we're just making sure that we're pushing out, if we are pushing out some content, that it's the right stuff. And we're also joined by Josh. Hey, g'day, Josh.
G'day, guys. Yeah, good to be back on after a while. Let's get started with this.
Yeah, I guess we'll get straight into it, Heath. So basically, guys, what we're going to go through is just a simple list of uncontracted players and contracted players, just to make you all aware of who is uncontracted and stuff. So it provides you all with a bit of information ahead of BBL 15, and we're also just going to share our thoughts on if we believe we should re-sign these people, or just our overall thoughts on how they performed in BBL 14, and based off that, if we should re-sign them. So we'll get straight into it. We'll start with our uncontracted list. And the first man on that list is Mark Steckty. Obviously missed the first 5 games of BBL 14 due to not being selected, and then came in for the last 5 and absolutely dominated the league. He took 5 wickets on his birthday at the Derby game at Marvel, and that was probably the highlight of his season. He was one of the leading wicket takers in the Big Bash, which is incredible considering he only played half the season. So I think we have to give a lot of credit to Mark. And my answer would be to definitely re-sign him. What do you guys think?
I definitely agree with you. We definitely got to re-sign Mark Steckity. I think he performed really well. I think he really changed our game style as well. Like, as you said, first 5 games he was missing, and we lost the first 5, and then come back in for the last 5, and we won the last 5. So, yeah.
Yeah,
what do you think, Heath?
With Mark Steckity, I reckon I agree with you guys. We should definitely keep him. When he came in for the last 5, he was just a superstar and just absolutely, like you said, just dominated against the Renegades, and it just shows why he was as when we decided to turn around and from 0-5 to 5-5, he was one of the main vocal points in pushing us towards the finals, which was very good in my opinion, and we should absolutely keep him as, if he can get a full run of games, no injuries, not getting selected every game, sky's the limit for the guy, I reckon.
Yeah, no, obviously it was tough losing Joel Paris, his partner in crime. So I think it's crucial that we re-sign at least one of them in Mark Steckty to really strengthen that bowling lineup. And like you mentioned, Heath, it'd be nice if we could see him play out the whole season, as I reckon he's up there for one of our MVP candidates if he continues. The second guy on the list is Sam Harper, another real controversial one. The reason being he's our wicket keeper, so we need a keeper. What do you guys think?
Sammy Harper, look, he's got his good games and bad games. I think most of the season, obviously, he played his bad games. I do think he can really do damage to other clubs, though. Even if we sign him on for just one more season and really see how he performs, yeah.
What do you think, Heath?
I'm gonna disagree with Josh. I do agree that he had some good games, but he had bad games. But he had more bad games than good, to only perform 2 games out of the however many he played, it was so terrible. I reckon we don't re-sign him and look to select a good keeper in the draft, because I'd rather select a keeper in the draft than having to watch Sam Harper go out his business, and it was just not good. I mean, he didn't perform as we would like him to. He was really good at the Renegades, but I don't know what happened to him, whether it's a mental thing or performance thing. I just think he needs to go, and we can look for someone else if if that's what we want to do.
Yeah. No, well, I think with the Swepson signing, that frees up another draft spot. So potentially we could look for a wicketkeeper batting type guy. I think an ideal man would be Joe Clark for that situation. But there's obviously a lot of other options like Nick Puran, who was previously at the club, and so many other guys, which we won't get into now. But yeah, look, I think I'm going to kind of go in the middle of what you guys are saying. And I think we should re-sign Harper if we don't have a better option. But I think we should definitely consider drafting, a batting keeper and potentially not using Harper or trying to trade him away for some cash or for another player. I think that'd be beneficial. The next player on the uncontracted list is Brody Couch. I'll start off with this one. He played the first few games of BBL 14. He slipped over twice. That was his highlights. But in all seriousness, he did look as if he was improved. But I don't think he'd be in our usual bowling lineup. If everybody was available, he wouldn't make our best 11. So I think he's a good reserve kind of player to have. He's a crowd favourite, no doubt about it. But I think it'd be beneficial to re-sign him just on a standard contract, and he'd be handy, if we did have an injury or someone was unavailable. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
reckon.
I definitely agree with you. Look, I personally like Brody Couch. I think he's good when he wants to be good. Although he didn't take many wickets during the season, I still think he's that sort of bowler that we need on the team, like as a reserve player, is what you were saying. So yeah, I think re-signing him would be beneficial as well.
100% agree with you guys. I reckon we should re-sign him and see how he goes. Like Jacob said, he won't be there for much of the best 11 as he'll be like his spot will be taken. But I reckon just sign him for depth and see how he goes. Because like Jacob said, he's improved, and I just can't wait to see where his improvement comes from in terms of his cricketing career for the Stars.
Yeah, no, definitely very well said, Heath and Josh. The next guy on the list is Campbell Callaway. He didn't really get a good shot at all in BBL 11. I think he bowled one innings and didn't bat. So he bowled one over for the whole of BBL 14. So never really got a crack at all. But recently in the Sheffield Shield, he's been performing fantastically. A lot of improvement from the young guy. He made about 150 odd just last week. So big signs for him coming up. Now, obviously, T20 is a total different game style, so it's very hard to judge. But I do reckon he should get a spot in the side next year because we need to start bringing in those young players. Because, when Maxi, Stoinis, those guys retire, we need some young blood to be filling in the side. So I would definitely re-sign Campbell Callaway, and I'd be putting him in our best 11 when we can. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think we could give him one more chance and one more year. But if he still doesn't get any games, or if he does and he doesn't, do well in those games, I think we get rid of him.
And you, Heath?
Yeah, I reckon we should keep him on for one more year, see how he goes. If he's going to improve and get a game, then yeah, I reckon we should totally keep him. But it's just a waiting process for Callaway.
Yeah, no, it has been a bit of that since about BBL 11. He's kind of been in the squad, but just hasn't had that kind of doorway open just yet. But I think in the coming seasons, that path will open and he'll be able to step in charge. We got two more on the uncontracted list, and the next guy up is John Merlo. Now, he's been at the team for actually quite a while now, and he's hasn't really played many games at all still. He's one of those reserve all-rounders that you guys would have seen a lot. I know Josh has some strong thoughts on him, and I'm going to agree here. I don't think we give Merlo another contract. Obviously, we need our reserve players to come in when there are injuries and stuff. And yes, those reserve players are generally weaker players. They're not in the best 11. But when they come in, they're still expected to put on a performance. And Merlot has had so many chances with the bat and the ball to put on a performance, and he just hasn't been able to execute whatsoever. So my answer is no, we do not recontract him. What do you guys think?
Well, you probably already know my thoughts about that. I just think we are wasting our money on even paying him. He's supposed to do a job right, and he does not do that. So, no, that is a big no for another contract.
Yep. No, well said. And what do you think, Heath?
Yeah, no, I reckon we definitely don't keep him on. He's been a while. He's been at the club for a while. He just hasn't shown enough, and I reckon we just move him on and let the youngsters take over.
Yep, no, that's right. Because to be honest, Merlot isn't a youngster anymore. He was back in the day, and we all thought maybe he would fit into that best 11 at some stage, but the improvement just hasn't been there from a T20 perspective. So, yeah, I think that's the right call from all three of us. And the last guy on the uncontracted list is Doug Warren. Now, Warren played just a couple games throughout BBL 14. He did actually play in our elimination final at Engine Stadium against the Sydney Thunder. Took just a couple wickets in his games. Look, I personally think he wasn't terrible, but at the same time, with Mitch Swepson coming into the team, a first-class spin bowler, and also Hamish McKenzie is a contracted player. He'll be the reserve spin bowler. We don't need a third, do we? So for me, it's going to be a no for Doug Warren. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Personally, I know Doug Warren is young and he could have some potential in the future, but right now he's not performing. I don't think he's got that solid big pash performance in him as of yet. So I'm gonna have to agree with no more contract for him.
Yeah, and you, Heath?
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I just reckon he won't. I reckon we just get rid of him, plain and simple. He's not good enough, and I just don't think he's. I mean, yeah, he can play cricket, but I just don't think he's consistent enough to keep his spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys with years and experience. He can definitely develop, but we just don't have the space for him in our list right now. So I guess best of luck to him if he were to be transferred to another club. I'd be interested to see how his career plays out because it looks very promising. But right now we've just got to take Mitch Swepson over him in the side. So that is our final answer, is a no. That wraps up all 6 uncontracted players from last season that are yet to receive a contract from the Melbourne Stars for BBL 15 and onwards. Now we will move into the contracted list. Now we won't go out and say yes or no to all of these guys, but we'll more just give the fans an overview of who's on our list so far for BBL 15 and kind of how we think these guys are going to go. Now, the first guy is Big Scotty Boland. Didn't play a game in BBL 14 due to test commitments, and they had to rest him in between our busy Australian summer. What are your guys' thoughts on Boland being contracted to the team? Obviously, he's probably a costly signing, being such a executive player or exclusive player. How do you think he's going to perform in BBL 15 if he does get the chance?
Well, if he does get the chance, which I really hope he does, I want to see him perform at his best. I think he'll do well for us, and I think he is definitely a good player to have on our team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Boland has been fantastic on home soil for quite a while now. The next guys are Maxi and Stoinis. Now, we won't go into how we think these guys are going to perform because we know that they're going to be fantastic yet again. But those are 2 other guys who are contracted on our list. Stoinis will remain as captain. One thing I will quickly touch on, though, is this is Maxwell's last contracted year. He signed a 4-year deal back in 2021, and this is now his last season. Stoinis remains with 2 years left on his contract, and I assume he'll play out the captaincy for those 2 years. I think Maxwell will probably sign on for an additional season at the end, and I think him and Stoinis will both retire together in 2 years' time. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. But we'll skip through those guys because we won't get our thoughts because we know that they're going to be fantastic. The next guy is Hilton Cartwright. Hilton's still contracted to the Melbourne Stars. Bit of a controversial season last year. Some people think he did bad. Some people think he did good. I think he was a bit unlucky at times with some certain things. What do you guys take away from Hilton's season?
Um, yeah, I do like Hilton. I think he's a great player, especially to have around at the club. He's amazing in the field, and when he's batting really well, he can really hit big. Yeah, I definitely think Hilton is a great player to have around at the club.
Yeah, and what do you think, Heath? Are you excited to see him back in BBL 15?
No, I'm very excited for Hilton Cartwright to come back. If I just really want him to be consistent and just be up there with the batting, and hopefully he can bowl. And yeah, I'm just happy for him to come back and show everyone why we've put time and effort into Cartwright.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the next guy is Tom Curran. Now, Tom is our international pre-signing on a 2-year deal. So this is his second season at the club. He's already locked in from the draft in that silver pickup. So, look, I think TC was good for us last year. He brought the experience in those crucial times when we really needed it. He got unlucky at the early part of the season being injured, but he was lucky to get back for the end. He had a cracking first game in green, hitting about 30 to 40 odd runs with the bat and giving us a defendable total. And he was also fantastic with the ball. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him hopefully be able to play out a full season alongside Mark Steckty. Those two would be fantastic together. We've already spoken on Hamish McKenzie, so we won't get into that too much. We just know that he is contracted and he'll probably be a reserve spinner. The next guy, this one will bring a few emotions out on people watching, I reckon, and that's Tom Rogers. His contract remains at the Melbourne Stars. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a big one. Look, Tom Rogers, we know, seeing the past, he knows how to hit. Like, he knows how to hit big. It's just that last season, he just wasn't on. Like, no games he was on. Like, he did not hit at least like over 10 runs. I don't think. Personally, I don't think we should have him on our list, but honestly, we'll just have to wait and see what he does in BBL 15.
Yeah, he picked up the nickname the Walking Wicket throughout the season. Many fans just furious and disgusted with his performances, averaging about 1 or 2 runs in BBL 14. So it's very disappointing, and we're all for giving young players a go. It's great to see young talent, but we've given him his chances. He was good early on in his time in green, but in the recent seasons just hasn't been able to be consistent whatsoever. So what are your thoughts on Tom Heath? You with us, Heath?
I'm with you guys.
Yep. What are your thoughts on the Tom
Can you hear me?
Rogers? Yeah. What are your thoughts on Tom Rogers being contracted with us in BBL 15?
Oh, Tom Rogers. He was one of those players where he was so frustrating to watch. It wasn't funny. He would have good games here and there, but he would. I would think like, oh God, why is he in our team to begin with?
Yep. Nah, he probably shouldn't have gotten a spot towards the end of the season. I think that was pretty evident. Two more here. We have Peter Siddle. Now, obviously, Siddle is 41 years of age. He'll be turning this year. So he's an old man. He's just retired from Shield cricket. But wow, has he been performing well? And also in BBL 14, he bowled a record of 149 kilometres an hour. That is his personal best. And he's doing that at 41 years of age. So that's pretty incredible for him. Look, he brings the experience, and I think that's the best thing about it. He knows how to, compose the team in those intense moments, and he brings experience with helping out, Mark Steckty and Liam Hatcher and all those kind of guys. So looking forward to seeing how he performs in BBL 15. And the last guy, which I'll get both your thoughts on, is Mitch Swepson. He was our signing in the trade period. We were waiting a long time for a signing, and we did get one in the end. And I think we were pretty pleased to see Mitch Swepson make his way over to Melbourne. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be a reliable spinner for us. And we've seen how he plays against us and other teams. He dominates games, so he'll definitely be a good player to have around at the club.
Yeah, and what do you think, Heath? It appears he's having some connection issues. He's
I
kind
reckon
of...
for Mitch Swepson, he was a good signing, and I'm just can't wait to see how he goes in Team Green. He's gonna put bums in seats, and he's gonna be a real highlight reel for the Stars fans and also his fellow teammates as well.
Yeah, and lucky last, I was incorrect. We actually do have one more. That is Liam Hatcher. Now, Hatcher was the first signing that we did make in that period of time. He'll be returning back to the Melbourne Stars from the Sydney Thunder. He played with us during the COVID years, and he wasn't bad at all. But I personally think a little bit of a downgrade from Joel Paris. What are you guys taking from that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a downgrade, but I'm just gonna say it is good to have Hatch back. I was pretty sad when he left our club, so it's good to have him back.
Yeah, no, we're definitely looking forward to having him back, and I'm interested to see what he can do, if he can perform well or not. That'll all come down to if he gets a selection. I believe he will be in our best 11, just considering we've lost Joel Paris. So we need someone to replace him. But that wraps up a very solid episode, 22 minutes. I was not expecting. Discussing contracted and uncontracted players with Josh and Heath once again. So it was great to have you both on. Thank you to Heath for the idea of this podcast. Like we mentioned at the start, we're struggling to find content, but we don't want to push out boring, unnecessary content. So we're just going to wait it out until we get some exciting news or information, and then perhaps we'll make another podcast. But thank you all for watching. If you do enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to hit 50 subscribers on the YouTube channel so we can live stream and also continue supporting the social medias. It's been fantastic for all three of us. So thank you both for joining, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Go Stars.
Go Stars.
Yeah. Sweet Go Stars.
Can you end that, please?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, honey.
Okay. What is the problem?
What is it?
Like going out and setting up
That's not good.
big money. Honey, the baby. Sorry. What will you been working?
What you doing now?